Good morning, everyone. May the good Lord bless you. This morning I'm in Bluestone Canyon. I'm going to go up the canyon. I want you to go with me. I'm going to check and see how the pawpaws hit this year. I hope there's some pawpaws this year. Anyway, I'm going to go along the river. I'm also looking for beaver sign to see if there's any beaver left in here. I hope there is. But this part of the country over here has had such a severe drought that the water is way, way down. It's usually up where I'm standing right now. You can see people's stacked up some funny looking rocks here all along the river. But anyway, go along with me on this trip. It'll be a short hike. We're looking for pawpaws, maybe some other things to eat, and see if we can find some beaver sign. Well, aren't you one lucky chunk of venison? Look at you, you scrawny little old deer, standing out on the side of the road looking right in the car window at me. Boy, you one lucky piece of deer meat. So take a look at those red berries right there, you all. Those are called spice wood. Spice wood, spice up your dishes. They're very tasty. They're also really good for colds and flu. Spice wood. Vitamin C. Rose hips. You go to the store, you see a bottle of vitamin C on the shelf. It says with rose hips, because that's where the vitamin C comes from. So I was down at Sandstone Falls last weekend, you all, shooting that video about let's all go down to the river, shooting that footage. And I saw a few pawpaws down there, but so far up this canyon, I haven't seen any. Usually this canyon right here, if they're at Sandstone Falls, has got a lot of pawpaws in it. You can see the trees right here behind me. That right there's a pawpaw tree. That's what the leaves look like. They're actually invasive too. They come up off of the roots of the other trees. And I have tried to transplant them before, but I've never had any luck transplanting a pawpaw tree or getting the seeds to grow. By the way, if you gather pawpaws, you want to gather them after they get ripe, not green like you can get an apple or something and do it that way. You've got to let pawpaws ripen out here in the field and then gather them that way. They don't last very long, but they are very good. And I don't know whether people know this or not, but they are the biggest natural fruit growing in the Americas, and they are very, very healthy. They've got so many minerals and vitamins in them, it ain't nowhere near funny. But I'm going on up through here and see if I can find some. I hope I can. There's plenty of pawpaw trees here. So far, no luck, you all. I'm going to give you guys a shot of the mountain right in there behind me. See how high that mountain is? Literally straight up. If you turn around this way, it's literally straight up. Beautiful place. It's quiet down here. I ain't heard anything, no noise whatsoever. For me, that's a thumbs up. All right, you all. Right here is a berry that looks like a grapevine berry. How many know what that is right there? Those are edible, and they're greenbriers. Greenbrier berries. And you can actually eat that fruit, so remember that. They're sticky little, this is a vine right here. You can see it hanging down right there. Deer love them things. So I'm seeing a few right in this particular area right here. I don't know how long it takes a pawpaw tree to bear pawpaws. I've seen little short trees, not no more than 6 and 7 feet tall with pawpaws on them. I see 3 pretty nice ones right up there. You guys probably can't see them right where I'm pointing there. There's 3 of them together there. They look like bananas. Now, when pawpaws start to bloom, you can bet on one thing: the animals are going to eat them quicker than you can get to them when they fall off, especially whitetail, because they can smell them things a mile away, probably more than that. So they know they're here, and as soon as they start smelling them, they're going to be on this trail looking for them. But there's not really enough down here, you guys, to come along here and hardly try to harvest you any of them. You might come along while you're hunting or hiking or something, pick you one up and eat it. By the way, don't eat the seeds and don't eat the skins of pawpaws. So one of the things I want to say about this particular trace right here that I'm on, you all, this is not the actual road that the Indians used. They would be using the bottom land down next to the river. In the 1700s, this was all virgin timber. You could walk through here probably barefooted. So Mary Draper Ingles and the hostages that were taken from Blacksburg, Virginia, over there at where they lived, they were captured, and this is the very trail they came up, and just about a quarter of a mile around here is where they turned back to go back to the Kanawha River again, or the New River, to go back to Ohio. So this is the very place that Follow the River. If you've ever read that book or seen any of my videos about Follow the River, you can check some of them out. This is where that happened. This is where they took them from Blacksburg, turned up to go back towards Charleston, West Virginia, and Portsmouth, Ohio, which is where the Indians lived up there in Ohio. I came from that direction, you all, 2 miles away. So here is where the old town of Lilly was. They thought the town of Lilly would flood, so they actually moved the town away from this location. When they built the dam, they thought that this town would flood, and it didn't, but they moved the town. You hear that? I don't know what they're doing up there on the road, but there's a campsite up here. Really nice campsite that you can actually come down here and camp out along the Bluestone. Now, the Indians turned up this north right here out of this canyon to take their captives back to Ohio. How you know that, Mike? Because I've studied the terrain all the way up to the I-77. If you go past this point, it just starts going straight up again, straight up, cliffs, high mountains. They were on horses, some of them were. So they turned up this canyon right here because it was the shortest way back to Flat Top, Beckley, West Virginia, Pant Creek, and back to the Kanawha River. The Kanawha is what they called it back in those days. Now remember that if you're in this particular area. This is a Shawnee trace. Actually a raiding where they weren't really at war with the Americans. They were just raiding parties, sort of smash and grabbers. They'd kill whoever they wanted to kill, take the captives. Usually if the captives were women, they would save their lives and take them up there and sell them into families who had lost family members. So that's just the way their society was. Kids the same way. They normally did not kill children if they were big enough to walk around and do their thing on their own. Now you all, I did want to show you guys this right here. You see this spike sticking up right here? These are wrought iron spikes when the town of Lilly was here, they actually had a bridge that was sitting right in the river. And I know I've talked about this before because I used one of these spikes to forge a tomahawk. You can look right straight across there in front of me. You'll see a log going through there. Well, this thing was about 12 feet wide. They actually used the wrought iron spikes to nail these logs to the river bottom. And that's what you'll see. If you see this down here at Lilly, that's what it is. This bridge went right across the river, right on the bottom of the river. I don't know what the state's doing over there. They might be cleaning out that trail that goes all the way up to Pipestem State Park. 9 miles from here, you guys, there's a trail. Or Pipestem State Park. And there's a trail that you can hike all the way down through here. bicycle or hike it. But you can see the remnants of that old bridge right over there. Went all the way across there. It's about 100 yards across the river. Them logs are still here because they're spiked to the river bottom with wrought iron spikes. Another thing you'll notice here, you all, is this rock formation is not natural. This is man-made. These rocks were piled up from over here and over here on this direction to actually make this flat spot through the river. Because this was a logging organization, you guys. People built this town. They come in here and built this town because they were loggers. So they were getting the timber from that side of the river and this side of the river. But this is one of the ways that they got across the river. They actually made this road across the river with the stones from the river. So believe it or not, you all, right where I'm standing, everywhere in here used to be a thriving community. There were farmhouses, people were living off the land with the natural resources that they had. They had the river for fish, transportation, a way to get material up and down the river from their house down to the main river with canoes and things like that. And of course, you know, when the big shots decided that they didn't want Charleston, West Virginia to get the water up into town anymore, they had to make a dam in here and destroy all this community that was in here. I haven't seen any beaver sign. I'm going over here one more time to the edge of the river and see if I see any sign of any beavers. So that's what I'm doing right in the middle of this brush right here. So if you take a look up the river there to the west, you all, beautiful. Give you a shot of it going on down eastward there. At times the fishing is really good in this river, you all, and at times it ain't worth a hoot. Sometimes you can catch your limit pretty quick, and at other times you can fish here all day and never catch your limit. I see some ducks way up there about a quarter of a mile away. I don't see anything that tells me that beaver have been eaten along here, you guys, whatsoever. That's sad too. Now the beaver on this river, you guys, don't create dams. They live underground, under the banks of the river, under the steep banks. They dig holes back in there, and that's where they live, with a tunnel that goes from the water up under the riverbank, like a muskrat. So those are pawpaws, not very big at all, you guys. Not looking really good for a crop. Although this tree has about, looks to me like about 10 of them on it. All right, you all, finally, I found a tree that's got a pawpaw on it. Thing's about 10 foot or 12 feet up. You can see it right in the center of this photograph. Hope you can see it. And if I bring you down closer, we should be able to find one right along here somewhere. Just don't see any beaver sign here, you all. So maybe they're further on up the river there, somewhere miles and miles from here. Because this goes way, Bluestone River goes way on up into West Virginia. Anyway, you all, thanks for tagging along with me. I really appreciate you watching. One day this year, the Lord's willing, I'll get my wife to bring me down here, and she'll drop me off up at Pipestem State Park, and we will do a hike all the way through here and see what this canyon looks like. Like I say, this is the old Indian trace, or the Indian path that they used. Come right through here up to the town of Lilly and turn back north. But it's quiet down in here. As long as there's nobody in here, you know, with a motorboat going up and down the river here. It's really quiet. That you all, may the good Lord bless you. Have yourself a wonderful day. Oh, how I like me some venison stew. I'd also like to tan that skin on that deer right there. Ain't she pretty? Poor little old dear. You one lucky chunk of venison. You silly looking thing, you.